Welcome to Rauta and Steel Chaos 2019. What we have here is a little bit different black metal band from Norway. You probably already know it from the early 90s. Let's welcome Ancient. Nice to have you here, Zell.
Thank you.
Please, can you introduce yourself to the younger generation? What is exactly your role in the band? What do you do, especially nowadays, in the band?
I'm Zell. I'm the founder of the band Ancient. Ancient is a band that was formed in 1992 in Norway. I just started it like a solo project. I was making demo tapes and just playing at home with a drum machine. And, shortly after, I asked my friend Henrik to be a drummer and vocalist of the band. Well, he developed into the band after half a year. It became a real band. We had some session musicians and we started making albums shortly after. So now we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the first full-length album, Svartalheim. That's what we're doing tonight, just the album.
Svartalheim is, for those that who don't know, it's related very much to the Viking mythology. It's a place of the dark elves, and kind of a dark and sinister place. Yeah. So it's not really a typical satanic name for a black metal title, but it's very, very Norwegian. How did you came up with such an idea?
Actually, I cannot go very much into detail because the vocalist made all concept and all the lyrics. So Svartalheim, it means like home of the black elves. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's connected exactly to the Viking era, but it's more in Old Norse mythology and old literature. It's a fantasy concept of the dark elves, Norwegian folklore in general.
That was followed by Trolltar. And trolls are also very Norwegian thing. So you kind of had that thing going instead of going about anti-Christian or going about these kind of satanic or Luciferian topics. But later on you went to a little bit different direction. Can you tell the story about that?
I mean, all the albums from the 90s was always, the lyrics was written by the vocalist, so Trolltar was also written by the first singer, Grim. Mm-hmm. It was fantasy lyrics. Trolltar means troll tear, like a crying troll. So it's all fantasy lyrics based on trolls of Norway, dark fantasies and all kind of strange things. And then after Trolltar we had a new singer, Caiaphas. He was more into vampiric themes, various kind of dark, twisted fantasy and vampiric themes. So it's been changing a lot, lyrical concepts, but most people say we're a band that's a little bit different than the typical black metal bands from Norway. We always had our own style, not just lyrics but musically too. It's not the typical band. It's I usually don't think of Ancient as exactly black metal band because it's more like black with influences of even heavy metal and various kinds of metal. Mm-hmm. We just have our own sound and we don't really try to follow any standard. We just do what feels right to us, and I think that's what kept us going so long, that we have our own unique sound and style.
Now I must tell you an anecdote. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I know that most people are not familiar with this, but there was this kind of a black metal ritual, cannibalistic killing in the late 90s, and your album, the Kenya Chronicle, was strongly kind of linked to that event because it was told that it was being played by the murderers. How did it make you feel when you heard about this vampiric relation to this ritual killing?
Yeah, I remember I heard about this story, it was like early 99, that was when it was brought to us. I guess the murder happened a bit before that, but that was the time we were told about it. I think that was when the trial was, and we were just, really shocked and couldn't imagine something like this, because I guess the people were listening to the album, they picked up some words from the lyrics like Cain kills his brother Abel, which is actually a story from the Bible. But people can take anything from lyrics, from movies, and use it or misuse it in any way they can. So I never felt anyway guilty that we were the cause of that murder or any such thing. I mean, there are so many bands out there that has way much more extreme lyrics.
It could have been like Cannibal Corpse, basically.
Oh yeah, that would be more likely. But you know, these things, they could probably just be coincidence. You probably heard of, I guess, a lot of different music, and for some reason, the Ancient album was very much connected to this murder. They say I was listening to some songs of the Kenya Chronicle. I don't know the details exactly, but I would think they picked out some few parts of the lyrics, and it got blown way out of hand.
Do you think you got some ill reputation, or was it for your benefit to actually have this kind of a link? Because I mean, Blackmail in general has enjoyed a lot of evil topics such as arsons, murders, I mean, mayhem, burism, and so forth. So you had your own kind of a link, so to speak, to this kind of stuff. Was it helpful or harmful for your later on future endeavors?
I think it was just a story that were known in Finland. Like in other countries, I don't think their story actually were very known. And I don't know exactly in the metal scene in Finland, I don't think it gave us a lot. You know, some people got to know the band because of this incident, but I feel like it didn't change very much for the one way or the other. I mean, we wanted to play Finland many times, and we always thought maybe I will speak to somebody. Some organizer said, we don't know, and we understand something was not really clear, and we thought that maybe the parents of the victim would not like that Ancient came to play there or something. So now it's actually the first time we ever play in Finland.
Like 25 years, it's the first album.
Yeah, it's a long time, and I was thinking that someday they will let us in, and finally it happened. But you know, yeah, with everything that's been happening in the black metal scene, to make us some kind of bad band because parts of lyrics, it's really exaggerating. But I suppose the parents of the victim might feel differently about it. They probably don't know the band well, or I don't know exactly what the whole story was.
What do you think is the reason why you, as Ancient, didn't become as big a thing as so many other Norwegian bands? I mean, you have a really strong start with Svartalheim. We actually listened to with my friend today, and I mean, it sounds very relevant still. There's a lot of same kind of feeling, like, for example, Saturicon debut. I mean, like, you have kind of a almost folk-like of things, you have those synths, and you have kind of a primeval energy, which is very much like kind of a reflecting young energy, the desire to create this kind of a fantastic metal music. But some of those other bands, they came big, but Ancient never flew that much. What would be the reason? Because it's not the music at least.
It's hard to say, I mean, but which bands were getting bigger and not so big. It's a lot about being the right time in the right place, to have the right promotion, to get on the right label. Sometimes it's just about luck and organizing everything, having good management. And yeah, I thought many times with Ancient could have been bigger, I mean, touring more and sell more albums. But on the other side, there's a lot of other great bands from Norway that did not go anywhere where we went. So there's many ways to look at it, but it's what it is. We kept the band alive for now for over 25 years, and you know, just the fact that we still have so much interest and we can still keep touring around the world is, you know, it's something that a lot of bands didn't manage. So, you know, I don't have any kind of bad feelings that we couldn't have been bigger, because we have done a lot. Even, you know, things can always be better, it can always be worse.
You have also relocated many times. You've been in the United States, you have been in Italy, and it seems that nowadays you're in Greece.
Yeah, I had an apartment in Greece for many years while I was working in Norway and going to Greece, so I was between both two, and now I'm actually back in Norway since a year.
Okay, how does that work out for you as a band and all that?
You know, we've been playing together for many years, and you know, if you're practicing the new songs for playing an album, you need some days of rehearsal first. But after the first 1-2 concerts, then everything is going well. I mean, we played in Romania 2 weeks ago, so we're doing the same set tonight. We don't need any extra practice now. If we start introducing new songs to the set, then we need some more practice. But I usually go to Italy 3-4 times a year, and we do some practice for a few days, and also practice at home with a computer. So it's not a problem. For making new music for an album, it's sometimes a bit more complicated because we spend a lot of time, me mostly on lead lords, or we're working at guitar riffs with a computer, and we're making a general rough version of the songs, and then we meet together, we discuss things, we're changing things with the drummer, and it's a different way of working than when you can see each other every week. But we've been doing this for so many years that I think we found our way.
All right. How in your opinion, Norwegian scene has changed since you started in the early 90s? I mean, now that you're back and you've seen so many bands grow, some have even vanished, ceased to exist, but you're still there. So many other old big names in Norwegian Blackmail are still there. How things have changed? You become more mature. You have seen lots of things going on.
I actually haven't followed the Norwegian Blackmail scene very closely. I like some of the bands that are active today, like Tolkien, like a Cold. But you know, I don't follow that scene very much. There's a lot of bands, like just when you go to concert, I see bands I haven't checked out before because there's so much stuff going on everywhere. But the Norwegian scene is still very strong. There's a lot of bands. Some of them are really good. And you know, from the beginning, you could say black metal, it was Mayhem, Dark Throne, Early Immortal, Emperor. And then there was so many more bands who came, and you know, the whole thing got very big. So you find so many different bands now that can go into the category black metal. And you know, if somebody asks you which is the style of this band, or they say they play black metal, it doesn't tell you so much because
it's totally different.
There are so many bands, you know, some say like we have parts with acoustic guitars, keyboards, and other bands say like Marduk is a very different style, but they still are both going into the black metal category. So the genre has just developed very much, and some people think it's too much. So the name, you know, you have now symphonic black metal, you have suicidal black metal, all
more black metal,
all these subgenres. So it has become a very big category to see.
There was this rumor, I don't know how much there is truth and which way, but I hope you can enlighten me. But there was this thing about you finding God and that kind of a changing thing. So you came from this part where you had inverted crosses and something changed, I guess. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, it's actually something that would take you a lot more than 5 minutes, but I think a lot of people, when they read in the interview that I became Christian, they thought, okay, this guy has just gone crazy, he's gone. But if you just come to a concert of Ancient again now, and you saw us 20 years ago, you won't notice that something is really different. I mean, to me, the music you play, it's more or less the same as always. Because I was studying, well, reading much about the whole concept of the devil, Satan, what it really is, the view that Anton LaVey has one of the church. So it's a very difficult subject, but I could say making a long story short, I changed from believing that the devil is something to be worshipped to think about that the devil is, some people they think that the devil is this creature with horns, like a goat-like creature that lives in a cave, but that doesn't make any sense to me. I believe the devil is more like it's something negative that influences humans in different ways. So it's not something physical, It's a spiritual concept, as we call it.
Is it the right way to describe ancient of nowadays, like Christian metal? Is it white metal or Christian black metal, or which way you go on about it?
I think you cannot call it Christian black metal because it would just make it seem like something that we're not. So even if I call myself Christian, say like Tomorrow Slayer is a Christian, but you wouldn't call Slayer a Christian thrash metal band.
That would be kind of odd.
So, I just think we're a kind of black metal band like always. Our own style of atmospheric black metal, but, it's mostly something personal for me. Some of my lyrics were influenced by these ideas I have about the devil, but the music itself, it's more or less the same as well.
One person wanted me to ask you this question. So how many churches did you burn before turning into Christian?
In my dreams a few, but in real life, there was just a very few people that was actually into church burning together. Most of the people, I'm from Bergen, so I'm more from that scene. Most of the people that were into the music and going to burn a church, it's part of the rebellion. They've shown society that there's a strong hatred against Christianity, but nothing really changes with the church. They build up another one.
Why did you choose Christianity over, say, more like Viking faith, if you can call it that?
It was not really a choice.
Obviously not. Faith never is a choice, but I mean, why this Abrahamic religion?
Actually, the way it was, I was in a situation around 2008, 2009. I cannot say exactly how it came about, but I have a feeling I've been under some kind of black magic. We were connected to a friend in England that we had some strange bad relationship and something happened. And eventually in Norway I was going to see a priest and we started speaking about this whole concept, black magic, the devil, Satanism, what this whole thing is, how it's influencing people. And slowly I was starting to read more about this whole thing. There are people who are writing books about all the concept of the devil, what it is, what the devil wants you to think he is. It's very difficult abstract things, but it was not really a choice. I just started reading some parts of the Bible, speaking to the priest, and slowly I was developing this understanding of what the devil actually is.
Have you ever thought about the possibility that since you earlier kind of questioned the devil, Satan and so forth, then you found God, could you imagine that you would eventually start questioning God and words of Jesus and all that stuff and become something altogether different?
Yeah, you can never say never, as long as you're growing older, you read more, you develop your views. You cannot not say if in 10, 20 years you will have different opinions of things.
So this is not like 100% I'm gonna be all Jesus person for the rest of my life kind of thing.
I don't feel that I will change from opinions I had until now, but the whole subject of religions and it's so big, like the origin of religion, what they're doing. I mean, there's a lot of things in Christianity that I'm very, very much against. I was living in Italy, Greece for many years. The whole Vatican, this whole thing is a huge money-making machine.
So it's more about like money, not about faith.
Yeah, and that's something I really really, I find it disgusting. I mean, when I was in USA in the 90s, like 95 to 98, sometimes you turn on the TV and you have these preachers.
Like these TV pastors.
Yeah, that I never saw in Europe, but you know, they were sometimes getting people to send money, give $20, $50. The more you give, the more you're going to be blessed by all this money making stuff. That's really, really different view, and that's totally not what Christianity is about. I mean, in Scandinavia it's different. We have the Protestant way of Christianity. It's not so much money involved with it here, so that's something I like more. But both in Italy and Greece too, there's way too much money in this. It's a huge business, and it's really disturbing that, you know, it keeps going. There's a lot of people, I think, in Greece and also Italy, they are really afraid to question the whole system because it's holy.
It's like sacred.
Yeah, so they feel that if they start saying any bad word against the church, then that's something terrible, you cannot do it. And so lots of people are taking advantage, they get rich. Being a priest in Greece, I heard it's one of the best jobs you can have. Because after this financial crisis, people are struggling to get €500 a month. But if you're a priest, you have a very comfortable life compared to them. And there are people who are getting into this basically for the money, having an easy job. And,
that's like very anti-Jesus, like the message in the Bible.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we have to soon wrap it up. But if there was one thing, word of wisdom, I know that this is very, very much against our audience, well, personally as well. But it's not my place to say. What do you have to say? So, what is this kind of one word of wisdom or philosophy or kind of ideal you would spread from your point of view, being a Christian person? Like if you had to give a guideline.
Well, you know, just be yourself. You listen to other people, take other people's opinion, but question everything. Because we're all humans, we're all making mistakes. Until you die, you are learning new things. So
that's kind of a universal.
Yeah.
Universal wisdom. So what happens with ancient in the future? Can you foresee a few years ahead? What will there be in ancient for, I don't know, 2024?
Well, we're still gonna keep playing. I think next year we're gonna start working on a new album. I can imagine it will be a bit more back to the old early days. A lot of people feel that the real ancient is the albums that came out in 94, 95. I think a lot because we had this very particular cold Norwegian sound, and a lot of the albums later, you know, we had a lot of different influences. Every album was different. You know, I like all their albums, even though they have their own different story, their own different sound. But I can imagine that next album would be something like a cross from the latest album back to the Dawn of the Dead and back to Svartland's Rauta. But you know, it's important for us to keep the sound that we had from the beginning. It's kind of atmospheric, melodic black metal, but it's in the style of ancient. It's important to keep our roots and you know, not go too far out. Like we had some albums like Mad Grandiose Blood Fiends. Some people say, you know, it's a great album. Personally, I like it a lot, the way it was different. But for some people, it was too different from the other stuff, and they weren't recognizing the band they heard from the beginning.
Any personal favorites then in your discography? One which you would mostly recommend to audience to check out first if they are unfamiliar with the band?
Yeah, I would think the Kenya Chronicle and Rauta. Also Rauta, it's actually just 2 songs and an instrumental. But then again, depends which style we're into, but those have the particular cold, atmospheric, melodic sound of ancient, and yeah, probably those. Production-wise, I was very pleased with the Night Visit. Although also there we had maybe too many influences from different style, even some progressive metal, and for some people it wasn't really what they were into. But yeah, I would say the Rauta and Kenya Chronicle, those in particular.
All right, we have to wrap it up. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this discussion. So there you have it. It's a little bit a different style of black metal. So you figure out what you need to do and think about this. These words of wisdom, universal points. Be you religious or not. This is all from Rauta and Steel Chaos 2019. See you and take care. Yes, thank you.